point where it posted on Twitter,
but it didn't go live.
Hey, it's working.
Now that.
Alrighty. We were mad. We were cursing Kyle Schwarber.
I wasn't.
Neat, you were the main
I was trying to
culprit.
motivate him.
Did motivate him.
I did.
I was ready to come in here and absolutely unleash on the Phillies. And I'm still ready to do that, except for the fact that while we were trying to get the internet to work, Kyle Schwarber hit a grand slam.
Boom.
That was beautiful.
That was hysterical because we were literally trying to go live before all that happened, and we were running into technical difficulties. And Meech was cursing Schwarber and how bad he's been playing, how bad the Phillies have been playing.
I didn't curse Schwarber. I said, "Come on, you fat fuck." Were my exact words. That wasn't
were his
cursing
exact words.
Schwarber.
And
That
by
was
the way,
encouraging.
if he's fat, then God help the rest of us. I mean, oh my God, he would put you in the nastiest headlock that you've ever had in your
How
life.
tall is
I
Kyle
meant it
Schwarber?
in a
by the
nice way.
Is he a
It
tall
wasn't-
guy? Is he
And
a
after
short guy?
all the success that Meech had on the back of the Schwarby shirt, the fact that he would call Schwarber the fat F.
It was a term of endearment.
Right. I mean, that's just
I
how-
actually got that from my buddy Evster. He calls everybody a fat fuck, no matter if they're skinny or fat. So I think it's
6', 230.
so
Appreciate
funny
that.
to
He
call.
looks short. For some reason.
that's really
I'm 6', 215, and I'm a fat fuck. So
well. This was a good introduction, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the 93rd edition of the City Pigeons. I'm here with
93 till infinity.
Mike Meech. I'm
How we
Jesse
chill.
Rendell. We got Rock,
What
man of
up?
many nicknames, and over here in the Fink Tank, our homie, one and only Eric Fink, looking spectacular. Fink, how you feeling, bud?
Okay.
Do you have enough beverages?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You'll think
Look at
looks like
this.
Andy
Yeah, he's
Samberg
got-
in Palm Springs.
He's
He's
got
put-
water. He's got
There's
Coke.
going to be
He's got
no
vodka.
more 8 p.m. sunsets. It's the end for the summer.
Is that
Summer's
it?
coming to an end. Yeah, man.
Oh no,
I
I
love,
sad.
I love fall.
Can I
man.
tell you
No, you don't.
that
Love
moment at which you first realize that the days are getting shorter?
Oh, no.
Go.
That really affects our golf. you
And
know what
can I
mean?
say, I was in the backyard today and there were some leaves on the ground, and it had, I started to get all anxious about leaf season.
I think it's time to get the kids on that,
Yeah.
man.
I should get the kids on it, really.
Yeah.
I end up just paying someone to do it. 'cause
Yeah,
it's such a
I'm
pain in
so
the ass.
normal with like seasons and like I look forward to when it starts getting dark at 5:30, but then I also look forward to when it starts being light till 8:00 in the beginning of summer. It does
Yeah,
make sense.
Hold on.
I enjoy the seasons. I enjoy each one. I love the summer,
I
but
love
then
change.
around the beginning of August, I'm ready for the fall.
Absolutely
No.
insane comment. I look forward to it getting dark at 5:30. I got to go to Fink for his thoughts on this.
Stupid.
He must be.
Sorry. You must be doing some weird shit at night. For,
I like
That's
when
just-
it
can't wait
I like
till
when
it gets
gets dark
yeah,
out.
right?
You adjust.
5
In
p.m.
the summer, you stay
Tree
up
jumper
later,
over there.
and the sun lets you know. In the winter, you go
It's
to bed
terrible.
a little later.
Terrible
and-
take. Anyway, okay.
It's
so
the most normal take.
so
I'm a normal human being.
right.
Unlike you freaks.
All right.
Whoa.
Only like one season.
Maybe
at a
Trevor's
time.
right. Maybe this podcast will turn the Philly season around, although they promptly gave up a hit and there's a man on. Anyway, we're not here to live broadcast the Phillies game. We will keep an eye on it because that's what we do. But generally speaking, I was just so pissed off going into this. I mean, it started off the game 3-0 after what happened last night. Was ready to come in here and rage, and I still am. And the thing that's pissing me off the most, I have been trying my best to avoid the whole this looks like the Philly or the Eagles season last year, as because you don't want to think in your mind that an actual collapse is happening. You're trying to avoid that idea. But I just had this moment where I'm like, this is the same. It's the same. And I'll tell you why. You remember Eagles are 10-1 and things start to slip away. And you all of a sudden you feel crazy because you're like, my team is in first place in the freaking conference, but I'm starting to bug out. You know what I mean? And you start to feel like the negative Philly fan,
You should.
And I'm having the same thing with the Phillies where I'm like, this is like, we should be freaking out about this, but they continue to maintain a sizable lead in the division. And it's like hard because you feel like, some sort of negative fan, but at the same time, what you're seeing makes you feel like in your gut you're seeing something really tragic. And I just can't fight that feeling anymore.
You want me to tell you the big difference?
Yeah, what? Yeah, tell me.
Here's the big difference between the two. Football, obviously, 16 games. Every game is way crucial. When you're the Phillies and you build up a lead this big, you can afford to slide like this. Now, the one fortunate thing is what separates baseball from every other sport. These guys go on, like Kyle Schwarber, I think before he hit that grand slam to take a 6-5 lead, what was he, 0 for 16 in his previous 16 at bats? I was making fun of him, earlier a little bit, but he was 0 for 6. So in baseball, all it takes is one at bat. It takes one swing. It takes very little to break out of a slump. It's an up and down sport. So you can have this kind of play and then enter the playoffs, and all of a sudden your top 4 guys get hot and you're unstoppable. It's a strange sport. It's not like that in football where the play calling was just so bad that you knew that there was never any chance of them doing anything offensively because, they couldn't.
I got a question, right?
Counterpoint.
So, counterpoint first.
They are the second worst team in baseball since the All-Star break. The only team worse is the White Sox.
And they're historically bad too, right?
Okay.
If the Phillies went 500 for the rest of the season, we would only hit 90 wins at this point. And as we say, we had the division lead. 6 games is getting kind of. I feel like they're on our heels a little bit right now. I'm not sure how that's positive last week,
but I'm not sure how that's a counterpoint because Meech's point is it's baseball.
He's saying it's fine.
One swing,
but even if they lose the division lead, you've seen what they did from a wild card spot the past 2 years. They can do it, and they're probably better playing like that than it doesn't matter. It's all about the playoffs. Just
I want to clarify though. Are you saying it's fine? Or are you saying it's different than Eagles in the football?
It's not fine. It's way different than football.
It's not saying it's fine.
Yeah, they're in trouble. Like
it's not okay.
They have like Brandon Marsh. I don't know what did he forget how to play fucking baseball? Like he can't hit anybody. It used to be he only hits righties. Now he can't hit a righty.
We have to
they don't
all
play
the
him versus lefty, but he's just unplayable. So to where we have who's Cal Stevenson?
Rock,
where did
the
he
baseball relative novice has a question.
It's not a question. It's more of an observation, right? So like Meech is saying baseball is weird. And I'm watching the broadcast before we started up here. And the announcer's talking about Rob Thompson and he's debating on whether or not he should have a team meeting about how things are going.
Right.
To me, that should be a fucking given. Like, I don't understand why there's a debate on whether or not to have a team meeting. When your team is on a slide and you are struggling.
Okay. As the manager, you have to decide when to do that. The problem I have is that he kept saying, like, we haven't had one. I don't feel the need. And the more he got pressed in the media, I think he finally had one today.
Yeah,
and can I say something related to that? I feel so bad for the announcers in situations like this. Like if you listen to John Kruk, he's ready to jump out of that booth, man. It is seriously depressing.
He's funny. Like he makes these games worth watching.
Yeah, because they'll rip on him.
I'll be honest with you. That whole West Coast trip they had, I think I watched about 5 to 7 innings of baseball the entire time, and I was so happy with myself. I would wake up, I wouldn't give a shit. I would look at the score. Oh, they lost. I fucking knew
that was the most baseball I watched all year. Actually, the West Coast. I'm a little bit of a night owl. I'm a little bit of a night owl, so I'm like I'm sitting on the couch. I usually get settled into the couch around 10 p.m. So I'm like, let me turn.
That was the torturous part. You know, they took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers and then won the first game against the Diamondbacks. You're like, hell yeah, the Phillies are back, and then no, they're not back at all. Here's my biggest concern with this whole thing, right? We heard from these guys early on when they got off to this good start, and even before that, that last year, what happened last year at home, game 6, game 7, that was a chip on their shoulder. And you kept hearing them basically insinuate that they weren't going to let this happen again. And here's my biggest concern. Right now, it doesn't seem like they have the ability to even stop this regular season slide. They seem completely lost in figuring out how to just win a few games to stop what's going on.
I think they need a team meeting.
What leads me to believe that in the playoffs,
team meeting.
But what leads me to believe in the playoffs, should we encounter a similar scenario, we got a hot D-backs team, what leads me to believe anything's going to be different? That's my biggest fear. Can someone make me feel better? Anyone? Think.
No, I don't feel better right now. I can't. Like, I think I was different last week. I was positive last week thinking, it's a long season. We're going to be okay. And this week, after you see, like, they just been playing uninspired. It's not like this is slop. You don't have fun watching this team. No one's having fun right now.
I agree with
Now,
you.
Fink, you did some firsthand research, right? You, as I understand
got Taiwan Walker's
well,
first game
that's great.
back.
That's great. So you had a plan to go to the baseball game, which I understand was a family night, and I do have some questions on that. But I think, like the rest of us, when we saw, oh, the Phillies are coming back, this is when they're going to get it together. Taiwan Walker is starting, coming off the injured reserve. You just knew. We knew how that was going to go. So tell me a little bit about how the family night came together, and then what your feelings were going into that game and during the game.
So my great cousin Lauren put it together to show.
Real quick, I just got to clarify one thing. I don't know what a great cousin is. Can you explain that? Thank you.
How great is she also?
She's the greatest cousin. That's what do you guys mean? No, so we try to do like a family thing once a year. This year was the Phillies. We got like, why are you laughing?
You didn't clarify the great cousin.
Yeah, I still don't know what a great cousin is.
I'm curious as well.
Is that like a removed a certain amount?
No, I meant like great.
That's not what you meant, but it's fine. Okay, back to your story. Here we go.
The worst day of my life.
There we go. Family night. Explain.
So
Your great cousin.
We booked that about a month ago. And sorry, I'm still the great cousin thing, man. You guys are threw me off. And then we decided to get a Phillies game. I found out that it was Walker's first game back. So then once I found that out, I didn't want to go anymore, but I sucked it up. We went. We had a good time. It was Harry Potter night at the ballpark.
Really?
All the kids were wearing capes. Some of the adults were wearing capes, had their wands out. It's a nice little night at the ballpark.
The adults had their wands out on the
Did
Harry
they cast
Potter
a
night.
spell on the Phillies? Like, what happened?
They were trying to fix them. It wasn't working.
Okay, here's the
Yeah.
question. I thought when you said family night that the legend himself, Mr. Fink, might have been in there.
No, this is my mom.
Patty.
Patty
But
was
then-
there. Patty
was
was
Patty
on TV.
there?
Patty was on TV.
I was going to say, but because like everyone looked like they were your same age, it looked like you just went with your friends.
So my mom's the oldest of the cousins because we have a big family and like we go down. So she's the oldest, so she was there as holding down for the older cousins.
Okay.
And no, my dad wasn't there because it's my mom's side of the family.
How many people did you have?
28.
Oh shit!
Can you answer me this?
It's like a group sale where they let you throw out the first pitch, right?
How are you related to the great cousin? Mother's
No, I
daughter,
meant
mother, sister,
I was describing
daughter?
that she is great.
No,
I don't
She is
know.
my
That story
cousin.
doesn't check out.
What the fuck do you guys mean?
All right,
She was a great cousin for setting it up.
I want to explore another part of this. How does Dev?
I don't get what you
How does
guys-
Dev?
Because I think what they were trying
like
to
great
I had a
grandmother.
great
No,
grandma.
So that's my no, that's not what I meant.
All right.
when you put the great sub before the relationship,
She is a cousin who is very great. She's a good cousin.
We got that part.
God, this is the worst pot ever.
Okay, but how does Dev interact with the Fink clan? I'm very
That
curious
was
on
not the
this.
Fink side. That was the Chaleros, is my mom's side of the family. And we got along well. We were out we tailgated, had some beers, got on TV. Good night.
Were there fireball nips? Oh,
There
that's not
was-
Dev's mom. I forgot.
There
Dev's
was not
mom.
fireball. nips.
Dev's mom is the big
Some Miller
fireball
Lights.
fan. Some Miller Lights. Okay.
I know where there's fireball nips.
All right.
Yeah, we gotta stop questioning Fingo. This dude's
I'm
fucking
hot.
sweating over here, getting
We turned the
close.
air off in here.
Interrogating.
My God.
I just want to say, people might think like that we have, there's alcoholism here or something. This is a candy cane, a large candy cane full of fireball
Nips.
nips, and nobody has even had one since last Christmas.
My friends came to my shore house when I was down in Wildwood for the weekend, and the ones my friend, his wife, brought Fireball, and we just left it in the freezer. Like
Nobody drank it.
Nobody brought it home. We just left it in the freezer.
Jess, I got a question before we move off from the fireball.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, and I know you play a bit of golf yourself,
Sure.
I
Like golf.
I've seen that the fireball nip or the fireball shot has become the thing to do after you get a birdie. Have you noticed this on the golf course? I've seen this now like 5 times.
Truthfully, you know me. I'm not getting a lot of birdies, so
I'm not saying you, but people like I played this weekend on Saturday with like some random dude, and this dude was like a good player. Every time he'd get a birdie, he'd take a nip out, take the fireball shot. And this is not the first time I've seen this. I've seen this before where this lady got a birdie. She pulled the fireball out, busted it out. It's not okay.
I've never heard of it.
That's the thing.
Sounds like a
That's the
nice thing.
now.
Well,
I'm sure Radical
here's the
Squirrel would be
question.
a fan of
Did you
that.
notice? Did they do it after pars, bogeys, double
Yeah, all
bogeys,
that.
and
No.
triple bogeys as
This
well?
dude was getting
Or-
this dude. First of all, this dude was getting ripped the entire round,
Love
right?
it.
And
What's the point of golfing if you're not going to get ripped?
this dude's getting ripped.
It's like being out in nature.
He got ripped and he shot 4 over. Yeah. But I noticed this, like, he was not taking nips after pars, bogeys, and whatever, just only birdies. But in between, he was drinking Coronas. I think at one point he burnt a joint at one point.
Sounds like the only way to go.
Damn.
Yeah, he was out there balling now. I was
Good
like,
man.
this guy's in the zone.
Damn.
He was in that Cuddy zone.
I do want to get back to you because Rocky Fowler is going to make an appearance to talk about golf a little bit. So I do want to get back to you. But Fink, before we move on completely, I wanted to hear from you about the atmosphere down at the ballpark because, you know, we as a fan base have typically been able to influence games, get in people's heads. I feel like it had to be a little bit more laid back than normal. And people were kind of like, I don't know what's going on here. What was it like down there?
We were booing in the first inning. We were on their asses. No, there's no laid back. Like, my thing is, people are paying a lot. Like, we're paying money to go to these things. They look like shit. Get your anger out. Boo. Wasn't laid back yesterday.
Yeah, I'm saving my money until they turn.
Listen,
things around.
I'm going back tomorrow because I'm an idiot.
When your great cousin
Paying
hooks
for it?
up, a thing for 20 people,
Yeah.
that costs a lot of money. It's not cool at all. You're going back tomorrow, you savage?
Yeah, my buddy Nick got an extra ticket, and it's a floppy hat giveaway. So I'm all in.
How floppy?
If Meech were there, he'd try to
Like
offer them
my,
$20 for another
After
one.
a night of whiskey.
No, that was
I'm actually going
I
to
got it.
I'm going to the Phils on Saturday, and they are honoring David Montgomery. You guys familiar with David Montgomery at all? Former president of Phillies.
He's like your godfather.
Yeah,
right?
so that's something a lot of people don't know. David Montgomery was actually my godfather.
Oh wow.
He and my father and a bunch of other guys went to Penn together and go back many, many years. And I can honestly say one of the best people ever. Called him. He was Uncle Monty, right? So, and most people that know him call him Mont. And he was one of the most fantastic people ever. They're honoring him on Saturday. I'm looking forward to going for that reason. Hopefully, by the time I get there, we'll won some games. Stoddy, that's staying in. Damn it. Anyway, all right. Yes, you're right, Mark. David Montgomery is the GOAT.
My godfather was Nino Campagna. Shout out Nino.
Yeah. Did Nino have any special accomplishments that we want to hone in on?
He's a jeweler. He's a jeweler like my father. And,
oh, yeah.
And they were best friends.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of jeweler, I'm sorry to bring up some random shit. We were talking about last week after the show. We are talking about like movies we liked. And you know what was on? That movie that you fucking
Uncut
hate?
Gems.
It's a great movie. Misha, I don't know how you don't
I
like
think
that
it
movie.
stinks.
Can I tell you something?
Too much anxiety.
My wife's
Loved it.
engagement ring, the diamond, came out of the setting. And luckily, like she knew like where it was. Can you imagine that? It came out of setting. It could have happened anywhere.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine how SOL I'd be if it came out of setting? She looked down.
How big is it?
I don't even remember. It's been a long time. She's been asking me to upgrade.
I'm just kidding. Oh,
gonna have to upgrade that thing. All right. So it feels like it's as good a time as any.
She did that on purpose.
Yeah, she probably did do that on purpose.
What if I lost?
We got to get this thing fixed.
Oh my God, I lost my diamond.
All right, so Rocky,
I need one even bigger.
Let's go over to you right now. You got your Rocky on baseball hat on. I feel like we've talked about a decent amount of baseballs. Anything you wanted to add from a Rocky on baseball perspective? Do you have anything for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Fink.
Rocky on baseball.
I was very positive
Rocky on baseball
about the Phillies. You know, I was like, you know, they're going through a little lull, just like any other team. The season's long, and they'll come back. They'll bounce back. But after sitting around on my couch at 10:30 at night, most of the nights while they were out in the West, I'm like, damn, this team is fucking trash right now.
Rock does all his pondering at 10:30 at night
Yeah.
after a long day. He just sits on his couch and stays up all night pondering.
Yeah, I'm a weird dude. Like I
can't do that.
I do all my stuff afterward anyway. But yeah, these dudes, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, you know, when football teams are bad or basketball teams, you know, they get into a players only or a team meeting, and I'm like, why have the Phillies not done this yet? Like, why am I not hearing about Phillies having a team meeting? And then I come in here tonight and this dude's like debating on whether or not to have a team meeting. You're saying that this might not be the right time, whatever. What's stopping you from having
my thing with
more
a team
than
meeting, right?
One team meeting.
Like Rob Thompson is a very demure. He's like a player's
Nice word there.
coach. You know, he's very he's low key. He's not he doesn't yell. He doesn't get angry. So if anyone should have a meeting, it should be a players only meeting with guys like Bryce Harper and Trey Turner, who make fucking $300 million plus contracts. And, maybe like Aaron Nola, who just re-signed and who's been here since I was a fucking teenager. Maybe get those guys and have a players only meeting and hold each other
A
accountable.
leadership
Something
council.
needs to happen.
Like at some point,
there's
Rob
no fire
Thompson
in these
can't
dudes.
do anything more. Like, well, he could make a better lineup and put someone other than Bryson Stott.
Do you agree with
fifth.
benching Turner today?
Was it a benching or was it a rest day?
I mean, he booted.
Like,
at
if you're
least
going
one
to bench
last
him,
night.
bench the rest of the fucking team. Like, literally, Schwarber was 0 for 15 coming into this game. Like,
And I'm glad they didn't bench him.
I mean, these guys are going to snap out of it at some point. They're too good of baseball players. But is it going to be too late? Is it going to matter? Are they going to be able to beat some shit ass Padres team? Like, who knows? But we're all going to.
All I know is
they need
this.
to turn it up.
I'm going to love every minute of
Look,
it.
all I know is this. For weeks earlier this summer, as I was putting together, what we were going to talk about or whatever, it's just like, Phils are hot. Phils are hot. There was like nothing to talk about. They were doing so good. It's like one or the other. Now, every week, it's like, Phil's killing us. I would really like some semblance of stability here, one way or the other. I mean, if they just want to get back to being extremely hot, that's good. That's good too. All right, we'll see what happens. We're looking forward to, when we first started the podcast, we had a beautiful World Series run that fall. That was a lot of fun. Still, obviously, looking forward to some Red October and doing some great stuff around that. So we're gonna watch these guys.
They're up now, 6-5. We'll see what happens.
Strom coming in. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Series win.
I got a question for you, Fink. Fink, have you ever participated in a scramble in golf?
No,
never. Do you know what it is?
I probably golfed like 3 or 4 times.
Do you know what a golf scramble is?
Loosely?
Can you guess?
Is it when
There's no eggs involved?
Nope. Don't
Nothing. You got nothing. All right.
It's when just 4 random guys get together.
Pretty much.
in a group.
It's usually a charity thing.
Okay.
But what it is, it's best ball.
That's
To
close.
where all 4 guys hit the same shot, and whoever.
No, that's not best ball. That's a different thing. But anyway, look, we got our expert here, Rocky Fowler, who has his golf hat on.
Now
To
I'm in
explain
my
to us,
golf
let's
game.
explain to everybody what a scramble is, first of all, so we can get on the
A
same
scramble
page here.
is, it can be 3, it can be 4 random guys, it could be 4
Or
guys
the
who
hat
are
just
very
says golf.
close friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great hat. It says golf on it.
Yeah,
It's very
golf.
literal. Brilliant.
But bottom line is, it's usually it's an outing, and it's usually for a charity of some sort. So it's usually for a good cause. But you get 4 guys together. You
Don't
play-
recommend going to a public course and playing a scramble when you're just playing around. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, terrible.
Don't
These
do that.
courses that open up when they have a scramble should be fine for some reason. Anyway, you go out there with 4 guys. You guys all hit a shot from the same spot.
Fink, are you paying attention?
He's not paying
Okay.
attention.
Yes, I am.
You all hit a shot from the same spot, and you take the best result. And then you hit
This
your
is
next
what
shot.
I just explained, and you told me it
Come
wasn't.
on,
No,
he's
you
the
called
expert.
you called it best ball. It's a different
real
thing.
quick.
than
I want to
scramble.
clarify something. Until you have a clever nickname like
Best
Rocky
result?
Fowler, you are not the golf expert on this podcast. You need to stand
Best
down.
result.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes,
Best
the best
result.
result. So if we got 4 guys hitting drives, you got 3 guys who hit it in the weeds, like I was down with all Sunday, and then I hit one right down the middle. You take the one that's right down the middle.
Right.
It's the best ball.
All right.
It's the best ball of the group, but no, best ball is confusing because it can mean the best score. It's
No, it can't.
Yeah, it can.
Regardless,
It can.
a scramble at an outing is a great time. You go out there with a bunch
Is
of
it?
dudes. Yeah. It's always a good time. I've never had a bad time at it.
When it takes 6 hours.
I don't
Have you
even
ever
care.
had one of those? Oh,
Yeah, I never had one of those.
that's real.
But-
But
bad.
you got to remember, at the end, you always get like a nice roast beef sandwich and
Oh,
some
yeah.
nice mashed potatoes.
Oh
and-
yeah. So that reminds me. So anyway, this Sunday I participated in Chill Moody's Nice Things Invitational. Shout out Chill Moody's, a nice day out there. It's I think it's in support of his new nonprofit called We Golf Now. It's like, to get inner city kids and stuff involved in golf and just get the community involved in golf in general. He had a nice outing out there at Letter Rock Golf Club out in Harleysville. Beautiful place. Was out there, played with 3 random dudes who were all very great guys, all friends of Chill. Supposed to play with the guy to my left here and Mr. Goodhart, who's not around, but they bailed on me for some weird reason.
got tough.
Not far left, right? Just your immediate.
That's correct.
My immediate left, yes. They bailed on me, but
Just
I
to
had to go
clarify.
out there and represent for the crew. Had a great day. We shot even, using pretty much like 85% of my shots, which is in a scramble. That's
Not a deal.
not a good ratio. So when you're in a scramble, Fink, you want to load your team with good golfers. This way you can always have
Fink
good shots
locked
going into the hole, into the fairway, whatever. When you got a decent golfer like myself paired up with 330 handicappers, your chances are, you know from the first shot,
Not
like
ideal.
your chances are shit. So that's the situation I was in.
Think about it. You got 4 chances at every shot, right?
What if you like build your team with 2 good guys who can
You can
drive
build
the
your
ball?
team
That's
with-
how you win.
That's how you win. You can build your team with
Someone who
4.
can putt.
So we're getting there. We're getting there, right? So anyway, nice time out there at the Nice Things Invitational. The team that won was some random guys, and there was a little bit of controversy at the end there. There
Always.
was the repeating champs who had came in at 12 under, and that team was laced with a head pro at a golf course,
Should be illegal.
3 of his homies.
It's got to be illegal.
Right, so these dudes are good. They came in at 12 under, but the winning team came in at 13 under, and there was some discrepancy as to these guys might have been cheating a little bit, but towards the end of the night, during the announcements of all that stuff, the long drive close to the pen, yada yada, the losing team, the would have been repeat champs, called out the winners to come down and play them straight up at the guy's home course. So Chill said he's going to get that all on film, so look out for that. But
love it.
Anyway, great day. If you guys never played golf in a scramble and you stink at golf, that might be a good way to get into it. You know what I mean? Because you might be playing with a good player like Rocky Fowler. You know what I mean? Who was bombing them down the fairway all day, bombing them down the fairway, sticking them close, and it just didn't have the squad with me. These guys were great guys.
All right. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you strategically go last on every shot or no?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part.
Because
it was like
that in a scramble is the worst feeling, right? Because you got 4 people going,
so much pressure,
and you're like, all right, somebody's going to hit a good shot. And the best feeling is when somebody already hit a good shot and you can swing your heart out.
Free. And that happened. That may have happened twice the entire round.
But
so
when you come up and you're the only one,
so from the first hole, I was like, all right, won't you guys go? We're playing from not the white tees, but not the
right.
I bombed one right close to the green, and I'm like, all right, guys, I'm not gonna be able to do this all day. So, I wouldn't last this time, but we're gonna figure it out from there. And then I'm like, next hole, same thing, same result. I'm like, all right, we gotta keep the same order.
I feel a little conflicted about this because it's not like a very, I don't want to say politically correct take, but a lot of these outings, they sell mulligans. Yes, are you familiar with this, Meech?
No.
You know what a mulligan is, right?
I do. When you retake a shot.
Okay, so a lot of times when you first check in,
well, a lot of times in a scramble, guys just take mulligans for free.
This is true.
They don't buy them.
They are cheating.
That's not allowed.
They're cheating.
But a lot of times they sell them. Like
it's not allowed, but
listen, $20 a piece
are lawless.
$20 a piece, you can get a mulligan. And I never get the mulligans. I do not want a mulligan. I just doesn't feel right to me. Now it's for charity, so I feel bad about it. But I'm not a big mulligan guy.
I always like usually at a charity scramble, they have the money hole where it's a par 3, and there's the guy standing there with money, and he doubles your money if you get it on the green. And that's always fun because even if you get it on the green, you feel bad and you fucking donate it back to the cause.
You know what? But now that I'm thinking about it, the last time that happened, I did that and I hit the green and I never used the money that I got.
Yeah.
It was like money in the gift shop.
I mean, it's all in fun. But
sounds like a problem. I wonder how
it's more like a donation and then let me fucking show off.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how we would do in a scramble, but I think we'd have to replace Fink with Goodhart. You know what I mean? No disrespect,
You
Fink.
just said if someone's bad, they should team up with good players. That's
having
Fink
in a scramble is part of the fun.
No,
because he brings more than you just being a golfer.
They don't get having fun. Right. It's all just about winning for them.
You're in my scramble.
Yeah, we'll have fun.
The Northeast Invitational.
They want to go out there and win against the charity event. Charity event for charity.
By the way, Tyrese Maxey just had a golf charity thing about a block and a half away from my house at the Union League.
There was a lot of people that were at Chill's event that were also at that Tyrese Maxey thing. I'm surprised. Yeah, it was a good time though. Shout out Chill Moody, doing good things in the community, doing good things in music and everything else in Philadelphia. So check out We Golf Now. Check out Nice Things Invitational, Chill Moody. Check out City Pigeons. Like, subscribe, share.
Check out my new album.
When are we gonna get the City Pigeons?
I mean, look, there's a lot of work that goes into that. Are you going to do
the City Pigeons aren't a team anymore?
We'll do it. Everybody's always like, Jess, when are we going to do that?
Can we do it at the place that, you frequent?
Let's start off with
probably
like the
not.
City Pigeons Invitational Mini Golf Championship.
That's a good
I'll
call.
kill you.
Nah, fuck that.
That's a good call.
No, you
All
wouldn't.
right.
I'm the goat.
So
No, you're not.
I want to head back
read it
over to
angles
Fink
like
because I know
crazy.
he's a specialist on
Oh,
this
boy.
next topic. Fink, talk to me about your fantasy football plans. How many leagues do we think you're going to be in? What's your? He looks like a deer in the headlights.
I used to be in way too many. I used to be like in 8 of them.
You're
I'm down
8.
to 3.
You're down to 3.
I have one where I had one with my buddies for like the past 20 years. Meeks is in it. He just bailed this year, just so that's.
I didn't bail. I'm working that night.
And then I had one with the Twitter guys that Meeks is in. I win that all the time too.
That's a cool one. It's not a regular fantasy.
The
thing.
Guillotine League. That's
It's a
really
guillotine.
fun. You ever do that one, Rob?
Wait,
Guillotine?
Guillotine.
Nah, I never even heard that.
So you have like
All right.
18 teams and you draft like your best team.
Mhm.
If you lose that week, you're out, and your team goes to free agency.
Yeah.
Oh,
So then
shit.
you get money that you get to bid on the player. So like
What?
someone has AJ Brown on their team, they lose week 1. You need a wide receiver. You put some money up. That's your guy. Now.
Guillotine.
I actually think
Yeah,
that sounds
damn, that sounds pretty
amazing,
cool.
man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
never even heard of that.
We gotta
Once you
mess
spend
that.
all your money, you're
Every
out.
team gets eliminated.
if you
a team
notice-
gets eliminated each week. It's the best.
That sounds
If you
pretty
notice-
cool. Can I get in that?
We have
No.
Rocky
Oh,
Roto.
we should do
Fuck
one of those.
We would
through
invite
City
you,
Pigeons.
Rock, but you know I wasn't invited for the scramble that you guys are having.
Oh.
Replaced with Good Heart.
Scramble.
Now, you may have noticed that Rocky has a new hat on because now he's reporting as, I believe, is it Rocky Roto?
Rocky Roto.
Rocky Roto.
Rocky
Yeah.
Fangio.
Of
The
Roto
senior-
World.
The senior fantasy football analyst for the City Pigeons
And
podcast.
I think we're lucky enough to get from you some do's and don'ts for the fantasy football season. A lot of people right now, if you're like me, you're like, oh, geez, here it comes. Wait, hold on. The draft dates are getting set. You realize you have no idea. Like, I have no idea who got, the rookies and who the frick. I got to listen to some podcasts.
We're not going to get that deep into it because I don't want to be giving out my secrets. I might give you one or two.
Clearly.
You know what I mean? Because you're in the same leagues that I'm in.
That's
I
You know
already
what I
had a
mean?
draft with my buddy. Can I ask
Yeah.
Rock about my couple picks?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we were picking pick number 4. What do you think about us getting Tyreek Hill there?
Who was picked before him?
McCaffrey, Bijan, and Bryce.
In a PPR league.
Yep.
I like that. Yeah.
And then we came back around, which kind of sucks. We got Miami's Alshane. I can't say his name. Alshane.
A chain? Yeah.
Akshin.
That's tough. He should be good.
I don't know, man.
You don't like the
I'd
first
have
one?
to see. I would have to see what's there. But anyway,
We'll
we're not
break
going to get
down
into
the roster
specifics.
later.
But
All
let's
right,
just go
Rocky.
with some generic do's and don'ts, right? So what do you want to start with? The don'ts, the do's?
Either way, buddy, whatever you're feeling good about.
Let's go with the don'ts
Okay.
first. All right. So everybody has this person in their league, right? It's that fucking guy who I'm all in this year. I can't wait. And then come draft time, you're like, where's this person? And they auto pick the entire time.
We know who that is.
Yes. So
Yep.
every league has that dude or dudes that auto pick or auto draft. Don't be that fucking guy.
You're right. It's not fair to everyone else.
It's
And
really
the
not.
problem is, ultimately, that person ends up doing well.
Man.
Last year, we had a league where 2 guys, their computers weren't working. We were doing
Yes,
this
that was
at
2
a
years ago.
location.
Yeah.
I believe they were in the championship.
They got close. They
Yeah.
weren't in the championship. I think one of the teams fell
Which
off
just
towards
goes
the
to
end.
show.
It's
Which
it's
just goes to
it's
show.
complete luck and takes no skill.
That
at all.
AI is
While-
smarter than
Good
Hey,
for those people who just
While
auto draft.
Rocky might say, don't auto draft, you might want to be that guy.
I mean,
because you pick your team and it's
might
going to
want to
suck.
auto draft because your team might be good, but for the sport of it and the fun of it and the camaraderie, don't be a fucking asshole and don't show up to your
Yeah,
draft. Get out there and do it.
75% of the time, the team who makes the really good waiver wire pickups, who either fooled somebody or they were bad enough in the early season to get good picks, usually wins. It's fantasy football's all 100% luck.
No, it's not 100%.
You could do as much.
Definitely not
You could do as
100%
much
luck.
research as you want
Dude,
in
if
the
it
beginning
was
of the
if
year.
it was 100% luck, then people would randomly win. But it seems like I've been in this league for 20
I will
years.
say this: Rock is usually amongst
Yeah,
the
it's-
people at the end
There's
of
some
the day.
there's some sort of
What if
strategy
everyone else in the
involved.
league sucks? And
What
Rock
if
doesn't?
everyone else in the league just doesn't pay attention a little
That's
bit?
not the case in
Yeah,
and
these
you
leagues.
got two
Rockies
people pay
Rockies
attention.
inflated
So
it's like
championship.
one
This is
on
not
one.
the- This is not the case in these leagues.
All right, moving
Anyway,
on.
Moving on. Second, don't in fantasy football is don't let your wife or a significant other know how much you have invested in fantasy football.
Yo, that's
Because
a good point.
There could be some significant money on the table. You let them know when you win. You're like, yeah, check it out, baby. I won $3,000 on fantasy football. But if you lose, you're like, I just lost.
I think I
$700.
made this mistake at one point, and like when I won,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, yeah, I won $1,000, and I only invested it, and I proceeded to rattle off all of the money I put into the fantasy leagues and then the pools I was in. And at the end of it, there was barely any margin. You know what I mean? I collectively won like $200, and I was like,
you paid fees in September, and
like
just cash
breaking
in
even
January.
and just having fun throughout the season is pretty cool. Like
it is.
I'll take that.
It's a lot of time
if
invested to break even.
money, that's like a bonus.
Yeah,
I mean,
it definitely is. It definitely is.
But when it takes you through the whole season and you can have fun, like this guillotine league, I had a shitload of fun with it last year.
that sounds
Was
like
it fun if you get your head cut off early, though? You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
obviously not, because then you don't.
But then you just forget about it
Like,
at that point,
yeah,
right?
you
You're just
lost
like,
your
ah,
money,
The
though.
funniest
Adios.
part is we had a.
What's the buy-in?
It was like
50.
It wasn't much.
Yeah,
It was-
Okay.
But we had a group text with all 18 of us, or however many, and every week, whoever got guillotined would get eliminated from the group text. Like, you're
So
going.
you got
forever.
cut from the
Yeah,
league, and then
amazing.
you got cut
From
from the
everything, yeah.
text. That's great.
See ya.
Anyway, so those are some random don'ts, and then like more specific, like people always say, wait for a quarterback. Don't wait for a quarterback. If you see a quarterback and you like him, go fucking get him, because quarterbacks put up a lot of goddamn points. You don't want to be stuck in week 16 with like, what's the fucking guy's name?
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins as your not Kirk Cousins is a baller. What's my man's name
A
down
baller?
in Tampa?
Baker
Baker
Mayfield.
Mayfield struggling
But
to put up.
To be
points.
clear, two of the leagues that we're in together have two quarterbacks. You
Exactly. So
definitely
you
can't
can't.
wait.
This is
A standard league, you kind of
this is
can,
from a
man.
general thing.
Standard
Anyway.
league, you can.
Here's one of my fantasy don'ts: is don't send threatening messages to players who underperform on your team through Twitter. It's not a good
That is
look.
terrible.
I thought you were actually joking,
doesn't make
but
any
you're being
sense.
serious.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm
Yeah.
completely joking.
Definitely don't do that. Definitely don't do that.
Rock has done that.
Yeah.
Nah,
He's like, well,
no, first of
that
all, I
was
don't
one of
like
my
that.
Definitely is not
He's
done
like,
that.
that's one of my
Definitely
dudes.
not.
That's why
done
Rock got suspended from Twitter. He was tweeting all the players like.
I don't even know how that happened. I think I'm still suspended actually, like 2 years later.
All right, what else? What other don'ts you got?
Don't worry about the bye weeks. Now, people are like drafting and they're like, oh my God,
That's a
I got
good
this
point.
guy. Don't worry
Yeah.
about the fucking bye.
Yeah.
If you got a
Best
week,
player available. Don't
if you
be an
got a
idiot.
week when you got 6 players on the bye, you're gonna take an L that week. Just take
Figure
it
it
out.
out.
Then the rest of the weeks you run shop.
And
you know
by
what I
the
mean?
way, you're gonna have all the injuries and all that.
yeah, it's
so
just
forget
don't
it.
worry
You're
about
right.
bye
That's
weeks
a good
during the
one.
draft.
That's a good one.
Last don't draft a kicker or a defense before the last 2
That's
fucking rounds.
just atrocious.
Because there's people
yeah, they
you
draft
reach for-
Justin Tucker, you
or they
know,
draft
like
the
in
defense
the
and like
fourth to last round.
whatever. You
The
can
defense is a little bit more.
no defense is not, because there's always going to be some good defense that emerges. You can
I honestly,
stream a
I
defense.
will play matchups on the defense
Mhm.
for the most part. Like I'll draft one that I like,
Yeah.
and then I will play matchups on the
I got
defense all
kickers
season long.
banned from my league.
Oh, one
Wait, hold
more.
up, wait.
Yo,
Fink,
these
you literally
like,
got
guys,
kickers banned?
guys, I love you, but these seem like fantasy do's and don'ts from like 2001. Like no shit. Like, you know what I mean?
We're
Like,
just calling it out here.
Mish, you're free to join with
Yeah,
your own.
You
pal.
got some new fucking
no,
Yeah,
here-
newfangled
here's my
do's and
new-
don'ts.
here's my fantasy football take. It's all fucking luck.
It's
You
not all
draft
luck.
a team and you get
Why don't
fucking
you?
lucky.
Do you have to go to the bathroom?
Can
Sit
we-
this
can we
segment
mute
out.
him
Wait,
out?
hold on, real quick.
I'm
Fink.
just being honest.
Enough.
With you guys.
Fink,
He cut the
you
kickers.
got kickers cut out of your league, dude?
Yeah, so it's a league I run, but we vote
Like
on
a dictator.
No. We vote on everything.
Okay.
But I did the politicking for 3 years to get kickers banned.
Yeah.
We finally got enough votes, and
Kickers and defense are pointless.
we
in
added
fantasy
extra.
football.
We added an extra flex instead of the kicker. So much
Yeah.
better. So much more fun.
I
did that-
actually-
did that in like 1997.
Yeah.
I had to like fight an epic battle to get PPR in one league because
Yeah,
I didn't think
that league
not having
antiquated.
PPR.
And then once you change, it's so much better. Like PPR
Yeah.
leagues are so much better.
Yeah,
Regular.
there's no question. There's no question. All right, Rocky, keep going.
Anyway,
We're loving this.
one
I'm loving this.
more don't that came to mind while you were talking about this, kickers and all that. Don't be that fucking dude who's up at 3:30 in the morning picking up players after the waivers go through. 'Cause that guy's annoying as
See,
fuck.
this is something that I've never understood, and there's got to be a rationale for it. Why do the waivers? So, for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, every week at a certain point, anyone who's not on a team becomes like essentially like a
A
free agent.
Yeah, it's
And you
after
can-
their waivers run through the week.
you can pick them up without using a waiver claim.
Yeah.
And for some reason, that time is at like 4 in the morning,
Yeah.
East Coast time. And I'm thinking it has something to do with the fact that people are playing in different time zones. You should actually be able to. No, that wouldn't work.
There's no rhyme or
But
reason
yes.
behind it. It just happens.
But
early
what
in the
happens
morning.
is you go to make try to find somebody, and you look at the transactions, and it's like, whoever is picking up like 4 guys that like Dennis will be
It's like 5:30 in the
he's
morning.
making,
You're
like,
like, what
7
the hell's going
transactions.
on?
But I don't really
Early
know.
bird gets the worm.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if it was at like 8 o'clock, everybody'd be lined up to get it.
Even 8 o'clock's early. In
There's got to be a better way to do that.
There's got to be some.
Gotta
sort
Here's
of-
a better way to do it. You wait until say you draft 3 weeks before the season starts. You have all the waiver claims, and then you put them in order of the draft, and you just line them up right before the season starts.
I know, but that's what happens for the waiver claims. We're talking about free agency once the waivers are processed.
You treat before the season as a waiver claim. You know what I mean? So you can't just wake up early and pick somebody who someone forgot to draft. You have the 2 weeks because you draft your team and that's it. You guys are shaking your head like
You keep the same. I kind of feel you just pick a team.
You have
Make
your
the
team.
rosters way bigger.
Now, if you want to change a guy,
Yeah.
you have up until the season starts to do it. But it's a waiver claim process. If you're the 10th pick, you have the first.
Yeah, but
option.
that's how it works for the waiver claims.
Yeah, well, you're doing that before the season as well, instead of
Me just
implementing a first come, first serve. Just like you wake up at 4:30 in the morning and be like, I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy.
I think
that it's like a weird psycho thing.
what you're saying. You have your team. You still do the waiver process, but then after the waiver, you can't pick anybody else up.
Before the season starts,
You got to have like a deep roster or something. I don't know.
forget it. Yeah, I don't think you guys
I don't
understand
know.
what I'm saying. but
Anyway,
Chill guy
On
asked,
to
does
the-
Jeff Hoffman stink? And I would say we're about to find out because he's in 7th inning. We're up by 1. Critical
you might
situation.
get.
All right, Rocky, keep going.
Anyway, we're on the dues now. We're on the dues.
All right,
These are a little bit
do.
more specific.
You want to
So,
do these things.
With the popularity of PPR coming along in fantasy football, everyone like the big. Oh, I need the wide receiver. I need the wide receiver. The stud running back's always more valuable than the wide receiver.
Oh, let me write this down.
Yeah,
I'm
the
drafting
stud
after
running back
you.
is always more valuable than the wide receiver because
Well, we have a 3 wide receiver league.
it doesn't
so
matter
that's
if you
tough.
got an 8 wide receiver league. The stud running back is always more valuable. There's 5 running backs who play every down in the NFL.
They're likely to get hurt too. So I want to point that out.
No, they're
So you
not.
got to be careful.
Not if you got the studs. Anyway, you want that person more than the wide receiver. So like Fink over here was talking about you got Tyreek Hill at the 4 slot. I didn't want to say anything, but I probably would have taken somebody like Saquon above that, and then
At 4? No,
Well,
you would.
I don't
not
know
take
what the-
Barkley at 4.
actually I didn't even deep dive into the players yet, but
You're
I would
not
have taken
ready.
a running back before I would have taken Tyreek Hill.
He's not ready for
Because
his,
on like there's a million wide receivers who come about throughout the season, and especially in these PPR, all you got to do is catch 5-6 balls, maybe a touchdown.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
Running backs always more valuable than wide receiver.
The last 3 years, I've been a heavy no RB guy.
How you
no RB.
Pretty decent.
pretty decent.
I haven't won anything. but-
Exactly. The stud running back's always more valuable, in my
Okay.
opinion. And then when you
Noted.
get that stud running back,
I'm taking notes here.
you got to handcuff that motherfucker. You got to always get his back up because at some point along the line, like Jess said, he's probably going to get injured. So you want to have his
I did say
backup
that.
on deck. On deck. You always want to have a decent backup quarterback because you never know when dudes go down. That's a given in these normal leagues. So you don't want to reach high and get Patrick Mahomes, and then your backup quarterback is
This is deep.
Sam Darnold. I'm almost done here. And then
Get a backup quarterback.
no, you want to have a good backup
Good.
quarterback. Decent. And then if you can always reach a little bit for these like players who are very good that are injured right now, but they're going to come off the pup list at week 5 or so, whatever the
Yeah,
pup shit is.
I agree with that.
So like
Who did I
Nick
have last year? I
Chubb,
want to say DeAndre Hopkins, maybe.
you might like
or
Alvin
somebody had-
Kamara was a guy last year,
Yes,
but like,
yes.
and then you reverse handcuff. So you pick that guy and then you pick his backup up like the round later. So you have that running back for the entire
reverse
season.
handcuff.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
nice.
So
Sounds dirty.
The guy that you always got to be careful of is like the holdout guy. You know what I mean? You pick, what was that the year, like Le'Veon Bell?
last
like, oh,
year
he'll
was
come in.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that worked out.
It did
kind
work
of,
out.
yeah.
So
I mean,
those
it's
are-
so expensive to hold out.
Those are the do's and don'ts. I'm not going to dive into some players. I mean, one player I will tell you about who is on my list here deep.
Patrick
list.
Mahomes.
Lad McCockney. That's
Wait,
all I'm gonna tell you.
Lad McCogney. Look at this list.
That's the list from fucking ESPN. I just printed out. You know, put a little highlights on
Ooh,
it.
let me see this here.
My boy fucking Blake out
Also,
at work.
can I
dude.
say?
Lad McCockney.
I want to say one thing that's so
Look him
lame,
up.
so lame about fantasy. And Meech, I know you go back to the days of like no online support, right? Doing it live in person. That must have been so
I
cool.
used to get my
Meets
my
is the pen and
standings
paper
mailed
dudes.
to me each
Yeah.
week.
I joined kind of after the internet started to come into play. But what I will say is so lame about the internet is that, you know, people don't even need rankings anymore because ESPN is doing the whole thing for you. You know, you're going, it's ranking them. You can just see it right there. You don't have to, you know, it was
but
annoying but cool to print out the sheets and, you know, go through and be like, all right, this guy's going. You had to mark them off, you know.
We have a
I
question
take pride
from
in
Instagram.
showing up.
All right, hold on. We got a
fantasy.
question from Instagram. Thanks for
From
monitoring that.
From
Fink.
Instagram for Rock. If I
Okay.
get number 1 pick PPR, who should I pick?
Christian McCaffrey, no question.
You're not worried about him
Nah.
with injury history going all the way to
Then
the
you-
Super Bowl?
If this person was listening, they would get Christian McCaffrey and they would handcuff him with his backup, who I think
You're not
is-
worried that he invited no black teammates to his wedding?
Whoa! Pause. Hold on. I didn't know about this.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
Did he invite
I didn't
all
know.
the
I
white
didn't know
teammates?
CMC was a fucking racist.
Him and Olivia Culpo got married over the summer, and he invited exactly 0 black teammates to
Oh.
his wedding.
I'm boycotting Christian
Now
McCaffrey
listen,
just
serious,
because
guys,
of that.
do you want to take a moral stand or do you want to get the cheddar? You got to make the call there.
I know he's got a little calf injury, but you got to go with CMC. If you don't like CMC, I think the next best player this year is going to be Bijan Robinson.
They're big
Straight
on
up.
Bijan.
I think, dude, did you watch him last year with fucking? I don't know
Yeah.
who his quarterback was. The ball guy with no eyebrows at one point.
Oh,
And then,
Riddler?
yeah.
Ritter?
But that dude is he's an animal. He catches the ball. He runs the ball. You hate Kirk Cousins.
All right.
But I think Kirk Cousins.
I got
is
a
viable
question because
quarterback.
this just occurred to me.
But Christian McCaffrey is your
What do
first
you
pick.
think
That racist
about-
as fuck.
What do you think about the dude in the league that takes all the Eagles? Are you okay
Don't
with
be.
that?
Yeah, that's another don't.
Don't
Don't
be
be a
that
fucking
guy.
homer and be
Yeah,
like,
okay,
that's
I'm
the
not
funniest
picking any
dude in the world.
Cowboys.
I love that guy.
Now,
He used to take like
He takes like
kicker-
Devontae Smith
Jake-
in round 3.
Jake
I love
Elliott's,
that guy.
Jake Elliott's
Yeah.
going in the 8th round.
now, by
He's
contrast, Fink,
automatic.
I want your take on this. What about, and I'm one of these guys, I do everything I can to avoid taking any Cowboys. Second to that is Giants, but Cowboys.
You are that guy.
I am that guy. I do
Don't-
not want a
Don't
Cowboy.
be that guy. It's
So,
completely
like,
separate
I know,
from
I know
real life.
there's some people who won't bet against their teams, like player props and stuff. You're about the money, man. You got to go about the money. You pick who is going to bring you the money.
You can look
Okay,
at it like hedging. You can look at it like
listen,
hedging.
I hear you, and
yeah.
here's where I'm at. Like, if I'm in a situation where CeeDee Lamb, if he even plays this year, is available and like he's clearly the best pick, I will pick him, but I will look for alternatives because I don't want to have to at all be watching the game and be thinking about whether CeeDee Lamb is going to score a touchdown. I think that's fair.
Well, Rock, let me ask you specifically CeeDee Lamb. What would you do where would you pick CeeDee Lamb this year?
He's the best wide receiver available.
But is he going to get re-signed before the season starts?
yeah.
Or are you going to waste half of the year? Is he going to sit out the whole year?
You can't. It's like
I'm-
50 grand a
yeah,
day. You
There's
can't.
no way that dude's not going to be on the field in week 1. Bottom
can't
line.
anymore.
There's no way. I'm taking him as the top receiver.
I mean, there's a lot of questions in Dallas. Nobody's happy down there, but yeah, I see your point. Like, and I do at the end of the day try to put the money first. But if I can avoid it, I will.
All right,
always
look at it like
avoid
this, right? You watching the Eagles Cowboys, you're like, fuck, I got CeeDee Lamb.
Right?
And you're like,
Yeah.
woo, Eagles are winning. You don't even care about the fantasy shit. But then if you're like, fuck, Eagles are getting fucking torched, you're like, all right, let's go CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. See, I don't want to
You
be
know what I
doing
mean?
that.
You can hedge a little bit, whatever. Whatever. It's fake
Or
football.
this is the ultimate situation. The Eagles are getting their ass kicked, and for some reason, CeeDee Lamb has like no catches.
Oh, then
And
just
I'm
go
like,
jump out the fucking
"Fuck,
window. Yeah.
This is the worst. This is
Just
the
go drink
worst.
some bleach and
All
call it a
right.
night.
Beautiful.
Great
Beautiful.
fantasy advice.
All right, guys.
Drink some bleach and call it a night.
Here's the underlying thing. Fuck fantasy. It's so fucking luck based and
Here we go back with the
just
luck.
shot in the dark. Just follow football and let the fantasy fucking chips fall where they may. You
True.
can pick whoever you want. You follow it, but it's not fucking life or death. People get too caught up in fantasy.
People
man.
do get very
And-
caught up in it. I agree.
And
It's
like you
Losers.
said, they start watching Eagles games and they're secretly hoping for a fucking CeeDee Lamb touchdown, where it's like, motherfucker, like knock it. That's not what we want here. Like,
Okay, but let me ask you this question, and this feels like a violation when the Eagles are playing and you have Eagles and the Eagles get into the red zone, right? And you're like rooting for that one. You should just be watching the game, right? You shouldn't be rooting for your guy. Or is that okay? Now,
It's okay.
and then, but if someone else scores, you're like, yeah, but I wish it was Jalen. You
don't even like.
It
I don't know.
screws it
That's
all
me.
up.
Me
It screws
personally.
it all up.
But when you're have a fantasy guy against the Eagles that you're specific, like you're cheering if he gets a catch.
That is
Nobody
bad.
does that though. Really.
That is
I
bad.
think
I'll
people
take
do,
I'll
man.
take a CD Lamb anytime touchdown against the Eagles. What, you think I'm nuts?
Are you?
No, but I'll do that betting.
Yeah.
Because
Okay, so
it's a natural, like somebody's going to catch the ball on the other team. Like
Okay.
you can't deny that. It's not like I'm rooting for it. It's just if he gets it, cool. It's
So
I'm
it's the
winning.
same thing with fantasy. It's got to.
It's not the same thing.
What are you talking about?
Because you're not winning any money. You're just winning a corny.
Wait, what do you
matchup
mean
versus-
you're not winning money?
working
I'm
towards
you
winning
get
money.
thousands of
You're
dollars.
working towards it, but you're not like
What about
taking
what about
home
leagues with
something.
It's not the immediate
weekly high
satisfaction that you're
scores,
looking
weekly
for.
high score leagues. We have a weekly high score league.
Okay.
But it's not going to be
got
based
all sorts of
on
variations.
whether
Dude, I like
the
that.
It's
guy
fun, man.
against the Eagles does something. You know what I mean?
I think we should.
Stop
okay.
trying to.
This is what we should do.
Fink's
just-
got a bong next to him, shaped as a vodka bottle.
Actually-
and everyone's ignoring it.
On
but I
that
want
note-
to talk about it.
on
Mark
that
didn't
note-
ignore it.
No, Mark asked about this, and let's see here. Mark asked, "Is that a bong next to Fink's laptop?" Fink, can you give us an update as to what's
Almost
going
a
on
bong.
over there?
So this is the new vodka from Philadelphia. So we learned from Rock today that Philadelphia is famous in the glass blowing community.
I don't know anything about that.
You just you literally gave us a backstory. earlier.
Listen, Fink, it is
Rock was giving us the history. of
it's a
them before
unique
they-
bottle.
It's a unique bottle. It might look like what Mark says, but it's not. We haven't even tried it, so let's open it for the first time.
Let's do it.
What does it
Nice
smell
little
like?
smell. That
You want
smells
Philly?
good.
You're not going to try it though?
I am gonna try it. He asked for a
Smells
smell.
delicious.
Oh yeah, we can't all just Anyway,
It smells like vodka.
Well,
Like, does vodka have a smell?
oh, there it is.
Mix it with
He's
some,
going
like,
for it,
club
folks.
soda.
Oh,
Whoa.
a deep cut there.
How's it taste?
That's good.
Oh wait.
He likes it.
There's not. I don't even like vodka that much. There's no aftertaste really
I'll
strong.
give it a quick.
He likes it. Wow, everyone's going to share it straight up? Gone are the days of the COVID.
COVID who?
Yeah, we're
Wait.
just passing around our
So in
bomb.
this situation, I got to ask you, this is like a cultural thing. Do you ever consider doing the you lip it low and don't touch your lip to the place where everyone else put
When
theirs?
when
COVID
I
around.
was
You
younger, I
just
would do
pour it
that.
into your mouth.
Yeah, when I was younger,
I
I would
just
do
went
that.
after Fink, so I got the most fucking risk right now. You guys are.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean?
He's calling Fink high risk.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I'm just joking, man.
I got to say, that was pretty good.
Pass me a lighter.
Are you gonna clean it
Oh,
off?
he's going to clean. Oh, no, he's just going for it.
Oh, what is he doing over there?
Beautiful. Hey, thank you to Philadelphia for hooking us up with a couple bottles. Appreciate you guys. Good
Thank you.
luck with the
Yeah,
launch
what's wrong
of the
with
company.
the White Acres jersey? By the way, I was having this
Let me get that
conversation
bottle
today.
back. Let's pass that back over here.
Trevor says those fantasy nerds cheering against Eagles are the ones who wear the White Acres jerseys.
By
I
the
don't-
way,
I don't
I'm
know.
wearing this Foles jersey in honor of Nick Foles' retirement. And not only that, he was
BDN.
cool
Shout
enough
out,
to be
Nick.
like, he didn't even know. He was like, I just want to retire as a Philadelphia Eagle, which is so
That's the
fucking
biggest-
so cool,
That's
man.
the biggest no-brainer ever.
Well, I mean, that's his biggest career highlight. so-
No
Well,
shit.
who's he
but,
going to retire as?
Yeah.
it's just like he's so genuine with his love for
I'm sorry.
Philadelphia.
Was
that-
there any other fan base that made the size of his genitalia legendary? Like,
How's
why
everybody
would,
doing?
why
we,
would you
we didn't
consider
do
it?
that. He did that.
Well,
I think all the guys in
the
Jackson.
good Lord above
God did
that.
God did.
Oh man, that is so
Yo,
good.
shout out Big
Yo,
Dick Nick.
shout out to BDN. That was magical. We'll never experience anything like that because they were the first to do it. So those guys will live in our folklore
never forget that.
forever.
I still think he was like possessed through that entire playoff run. Like I never saw anything like that besides like Eli Manning when he knocked off.
I heard them on the radio today
Patriots
talking about how
undefeated
bad he
team.
was during those last couple regular season
Yeah.
games. And
That game
yeah.
against Dallas, I thought we
Oh.
were done. I was working. I was listening
Right.
to the radio, and I was just cursing.
it
the
made
whole
them like a
car ride.
fucking touchdown underdog in every home
My
game in
man
the
was
playoffs.
blessed.
It's
He was-
ridiculous.
Glad we said
Man,
that.
I
Okay.
will always love you, Nick.
So one last thing I wanted to get to as we near the end of the podcast for this week is we had a little debate going on this week about concerts because myself and a couple friends went to the Green Day concert. Which
I
Have a
wasn't.
time.
Me and Rock weren't including in the friends part.
I had no idea that you even
I know,
liked
I'm
Green
not-
Day.
I'm
Like,
just busting
honestly,
balls.
can we just say this? Anyone who pays attention to the City Pigeons podcast, would you think Meech would want to go to a Green Day concert?
Yes.
Help me out.
Yes.
100%.
No.
Meech
no.
is a 90s music
care.
See,
fanatic.
and I was friends with
No.
Jesse in the summer in Ocean City, where the Green Day Dookie album was the biggest thing
Dookie,
around.
man.
Like,
So,
like
and by the way,
every one of our friends, all they did was blast the Dookie
right.
album
And by the way, they were playing the Dookie album in its entirety,
which is
so
awesome.
I got a
yeah.
question.
And American Idiot, which is
Anytime
Did
you
you
have
stay
a
for that
question, you
American
do
Idiot
say,
part?
I got a question. Of
I got a
course I
question.
did. Of course I did.
Were you
Why
an
would I not?
American Idiot guy? That was like 10 years later.
No,
wasn't it?
I mean, look, it's like any band, right? You have the one record that like is a time, Dookie to me, and this is going way too into detail, but the song Longview, okay, which starts with an epic bass line, was kind of the reason that I actually started playing the bass guitar, which led to me being in a band and doing a whole thing.
You need to run that baseline contest back, by the way.
Yeah, I do need to run that back. But that changed the trajectory of my life. It literally changed the trajectory of my life. And I remember I had a freaking not a Walkman, but a CD. What did they call it? Discman. I had a Discman, and I remember the Green Day Dookie record. It was like gold poo colored, the CD, and I put it in, and I wore that out, and like I just was like, this is the fucking coolest.
But what does
thing.
that have to do with you staying for American Idiot?
Just give me a second, dude. All right. At the time, I was like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened. And so anytime I hear those songs, and some of them have become, Basket Case, and I've heard them almost so many times that it's almost hard to like them, but that entire record was a moment in time. And this leads me to another thing. What's so awesome about music back then is the albums, right? The way the albums flowed, because the bands didn't do that by happenstance, right? And I was actually fortunate enough to be in a band where we recorded songs and we had to choose what the order would be, right? And so as you do that, you're thinking like, okay, how's this going to flow? And like anyone who's heard Longview knows, it starts off the end of the song before it. So I'm at the show, and they literally do that, and I'm just like sitting there, like almost like, and to me, this goes to our conversation, because Meech was like, the idea of going to a concert is cooler in theory. It's not that great when you go, but if I can even like feel a smidge of what I felt back then, I'll go every time. I'll go every time. And yes, did I say for American Idiot? Absolutely, because that's not my favorite Green Day stuff, but I still think those are solid songs. And at that point, I was having a very good time, so definitely not going to leave. And I was with some of my best friends, and we were reliving shit together. And so here's what I want to say on concerts in general. If I go to a lot of concerts of bands that I used to like when I was young, and they're still playing, and it just brings back these tremendous memories, and I try to go with people who love those bands back in those days, and I never ever regret it. It's like bands don't get worse over time; they actually get better. And I never regret it.
So how did Radical Squirrel get involved? Because he was probably like, what, 5 years old when that came out?
I mean, but yeah, like, how did I like Zeppelin? You know what I mean? It's the same thing. Like, he figured out pretty quick that that was a great record.
Got it.
Shout out Radical Squirrel. You just stay away from it. Okay. Meech, your thoughts?
Well, here's my perfect example. I remember last year, Souls of Mischief played in a little club here, and it was the 20th anniversary of the
I remember you
93
till,
and I was trying to get everybody to go. Nobody wanted to go, and I was like,
that's because I only like one song. I'm sorry.
If you went to the concert, you'd like every fucking
Did
song
they just play 93 till over and over?
No, they played the entire album. It was the same kind of thing. It was
right.
They play front to back. A lot of people do that nowadays.
It's great. It's a great
cool.
draw. Yeah.
Like I love it.
Taps into exactly the
Nas
emotion.
did it with a fucking orchestra in DC.
Yeah,
and you can listen to that on iTunes, and man,
that's probably
like I listen to that shit, and it takes me back to
with an orchestra.
With an orchestra,
that's probably fire.
Watch it on.
Phil's are blowing it open right
iTunes.
now.
It takes you back. It's like beautiful.
I'm sorry, real quick. Speaking of like iTunes and like, have you watch these Tiny Desk things that pop up hip hop wise?
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Did you see the locks?
Yeah,
that was really good. Yeah.
Can you explain? Wait, can you explain to me and the audience what it is?
So NPR Tiny Desk, they have like
they've been doing it for 10 years,
all right,
15 years.
Explain it. I don't know.
So it's like the original. So the locks. Do you know who the locks is?
Yeah.
All right. So the Lox is a hip hop group.
I kind of like do, but I just said I do. I think I do.
It's Jadakiss, Chic.
Sure, yeah.
So
Okay.
they were never.
Bad Boy
They
when
weren't
Bad
like
Boy
when they
first
were
started.
doing their music. They didn't have bands behind them. But now in these Tiny Desk concerts, it's like the 3 guys from the Lox, and they have like a live band behind them.
And it's like
at
they're
a
in
tiny
a
desk.
It's kind of like the
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon.
Exactly.
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But they do
I'm
like
with you.
they're not long enough in my opinion because
Yeah.
they're only like 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah.
But they'll do like 3 or 4 like of their classic hits with the live band behind them, and it's like an acoustic kind of set, and it's just like so good. Like the Mac Miller one is like a classic because like it was like right before he died, and it's like went down as like the best Tiny Desk concert ever. You had like
Fink just fell.
pretty much any artist who's like a great artist has been through a Tiny Desk and has done like they're like so good. But anyway, you were talking about the Nasty Nas thing and him having an orchestra. That just took me back to the Tiny Desk thing, and I just wanted to bring that up. Sorry.
Well, anyway, a lot of these, and it'd be awesome to go to it in theory, but
Mhm.
like I gotta drive down. Here's an
You
example.
got to go through all that.
I went to a Guns N' Roses concert when they came back at the Wells Fargo. Center.
Amazing.
I went to like with 4 of my good friends, and I'm sitting there at the concert. Now, I'm a rap guy, right? To where all I bought.
Yeah,
was
that's why I
rap
didn't think you'd
albums.
want to go to Green Day.
Yeah, which is fine, but like I would listen to everything else. You know, I was a big fan of music, so I was into Guns N' Roses. So I was
How
like,
could you not
I'll
be?
go to the fucking concert. And then they'd play all the songs I knew, and then they started playing like these
Yeah,
deep cuts
it
that I just
You like 'em
and
outta
I'm
here.
looking around. I'm like, you know what? I want to get the fuck out of here before the
I get it.
traffic gets too bad.
I got it.
And I'm like, guys, I'm out of here. Like, I'll see. I like grabbed a piece of pizza, one of those big ass when Lorenzo's was in the Wells Fargo Center. I just left. Like,
You know what's the coolest thing,
I
though?
wasted the entire concert just because I'm an old. It's me. It's a me.
It's you.
thing.
You're a curmudgeon.
I'm just an old. It's not. I'm a curmudgeon.
I'm with you,
I
man.
just don't enjoy it as much as I did when I was.
I know what you mean.
I used to love going to concerts.
But you know what's so cool?
I used to love getting packed like a sardine in the middle of a club and not being able to move.
Getting
Now,
a beer
Well,
spilled
that's like
spilled
you
down
used
your
to-
back.
I want to be
Getting a
home and
beer
I'll listen,
spilled down your back.
I'll listen to this shit on the fucking stereo. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
think about it like this, like Guns N' Roses, for example, right? Welcome to the Jungle became like the hype song for like every sporting event
Yeah.
ever. But just like we can go back and think about when we first heard that and it was like a new record.
Right.
And you were just like, what? I'd never forget. This is one of the most stark memories of my childhood. And it's so funny. I was at a party at David Montgomery's house. I believe it was a Super Bowl party. He had a Super Bowl party every year, which was great. All the family got together. But I was like not that interested at that time. And I was like in a side room and I was watching MTV and the world premiere video for Paradise City
Oh,
came
yeah.
on. And I was watching it just like, what is this? This is, I need to be this. Who is this? These women are beautiful. These guys are rocking. I got to get in here. Let me get in. You know what I mean?
I want to go to this Paradise City.
Where is this Paradise City? Take me
Take
there.
me down.
Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Well, hey guys, it's fun to be able to
Is it?
reminisce with you guys and talk shit. And that's just what we get to do here every week. And I appreciate you guys. And anybody that's paying attention, thank you. We love you guys.
Shout out, y'all.
Right
Love
now,
you.
we're thinking about what we're gonna do
Yo,
here.
Phillies are up 9-5,
I
by the
know.
way, in case you're not
They
paying
exploded.
attention.
I mentioned that. They exploded. And
Fills
we're
up
happy.
925.
We're happy.
What a way to.
Very clever. That's good.
beating a
Um,
bad team. That's what they should do.
So
right?
we
Exactly.
okay, we right now are in the process of determining what the fall is going to look like for City Pigeons. This is our 93rd episode. Like I said, we're getting closer to 100. We've got Eagles games starting up. We're going to have hopefully Phillies playoffs. I don't see a world where we don't. So if you have any ideas, and we have the coop here, if you want to have a kick-ass event of any kind,
Fantasy draft.
whatever, hit us up.
I'll come
Any
here and give
ideas?
you some consultation.
Yeah,
too, if you
Rock
want.
will actually help you draft. He'll come in here and help you draft. He'll just
No
have to
fee.
fit that
No
in
fee at all.
with
And
his
Meeches
4 to
also
5
will
draft.
be here, and he's just going to tell you it's all luck.
Yeah, if you just want to come here and hang out.
It's all fucking luck.
Yeah.
I
Meeches
just feel like
is
pick whoever the fuck you want. It don't matter. You can get a replacement in the waiver wire in week 14. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
Fantasy
perfect.
football is fake as hell.
It's not
Let's
fake
wrap this
per
up. I gotta
se.
pay you, dude.
I just love the amount of money that like
Rock has to pee. Let's
that-
keep this
that
going.
Fake, like, that fake fantasy experts like they give you advice and you pick
I'm a,
their
Hey,
fucking
I'm a
players,
senior
and then they
fantasy
get
analyst,
no
bro.
touchdowns and like 2 catches for 12
They've
yards.
made a lot of money. You know, Matthew Berry's of the world. You can't hate on these guys, man. They created a cottage industry. They were out in front of it. All
Don't
right,
draft
everybody.
Justin Jefferson.
Listen, if you're watching this,
Don't
you
draft
are out
him.
in front of it on the City Pigeons podcast. We thank you guys for joining us.
I have a lottery business, so I'm going to give lottery numbers out. I know which lottery numbers are coming out. So come tell me. It's like this week the 3's hot,
Start
the
that-
4's
start up
hot,
that,
and the 7's hot.
ready?
So
Let's get
come
this
to me.
outro.